Hi, Tuffy.
Hi. I think it's like some sausages, Clark.
Sure can see a long ways up here. I'll show you when we're at the bottom for how tall it is. Trying to put a glove on with one hand is pretty hard. Sure is a lot safer than a normal ladder, that's for sure. And faster. I'll get a good view of this for you people. Oh geez, this is slippery. This is about a 3-foot snowdrift I'm standing on. That's how tall the bin is. And then also, my dad, he attached an extra bin fan on. And this seems to be doubling the air going through it. And this doorway is locked right now, but going through it, it's pretty easy. Then this farm actually used to be my great uncle's. And we'll drive you around it. Quick farm tour. One second. There it went. Look out, Fred. This is going to be our house whenever ours sells. This is where I'm gonna store my car. This car. Then we've got 6 bins right here, and the one big one over there. And this is our shop. We usually would keep our 4440 tractor in it. We've got 2 more bins right here. This building's actually gonna get torn down, as well as that one, because those buildings are pretty close to being junk, which they really just are now. So, and this is one of our equipment sheds. We have our straight truck in there right now, and then a few trailers for when we move up here. This bin's gonna have to come down because stuff off the top is falling. That's why there's this fence here. And we're hoping to potentially take these bins down too. So then there's more room and we can see out past there. And this is where we keep all of our spraying stuff. We've got another tank down at my grandparents'. And this spraying stuff is our our newest couple of things we have. And then back here. We've got our way wagon here. We just got that actually, just about 2 months ago. And this pink grain bin is more than likely going to come down because stuff is falling off the top of this one as well. And then we've got 2 wagons. We're down to 4 or 6 now. We sold a set a little while back. Trying to turn around back here isn't that easy. This is a nice icy spot for four-wheeling, by the way. Sorry if the video's not filling your TV screen if you're watching. And there's the 2 black sides on each end. I'm not 100% sure how I'm supposed to hold the phone because it's done that either way. And in this gray building, we have our 4440, our 6-row corn head, and our bean head. And our 5th wheel trailer. That thing comes in handy. It's a pretty good sprayer trailer. Then in this big green Cleary building, we have some cool dirt vehicles. Bigger equipment. This child's excited to show the tractor off. It's not locked, you pull it. Maybe it is locked.
I don't know what to do with this one, Aiden.
You don't pull it, you push it.
This?
Yes. Hang on. Pause the video here. There, we've got it open. Oh, the sprayer left out of here. That's nice. Let's see. Fancy Nancy lights. And then we'll show you the other Fancy Nancy lights. Wow, that just looks like a big blob of white. This is a 500 watt light bulb. Not watt, lumen. Back here we have our John Deere 9300. This thing hasn't run in a couple months. Why isn't the cab light on? Well, that's better. This is the vehicle I ran 2 summers ago now. It's got a nice, fancy buddy seat. Used to have like a compartment, like a center console in a vehicle, but we switched that out and put this in instead, because that thing, it sits about here, and for me, if I would sit there now, I would be literally, like, my head would have to be curved down, so that wouldn't work now. Luckily we got this buddy seat. And we've got a Ag Leader auto steer in here. Once you try it, you'll never want to go back to nothing. It'd be easier to show you if the monitor was running, but we're not gonna do that right now. Maybe some other time. There's a foot pedal here for the monitor, which I've shown you in my past videos. So when you're turning around on the end rows, and it doesn't come with a foot pedal, so you have to click like a little steering button right here, and that just takes too much time. So when you're trying to steer, all you have to do is get it turned around and straightened out, because if you don't, it'll really just turn really hard and make you wobble all over the cab. Now my foot's resting on this foot pedal here. All you have to do is click it, and it'll start an auto steer. And then our newest piece of tilling equipment is down at my grandparents' farm yet, because we haven't had this very long. And that is a pretty heavy piece of equipment, because this thing's actually gotten stuck before with it. But it was pretty muddy there, but there's that. And then my favorite thing to do with this tractor is usually run I'll switch the camera around here if I can. Usually my favorite thing to run is the field finisher. That's what I did in that video I was talking to you about, this auto steer. I didn't say too much about it, but not yet anyway. When you start with the auto steer, you always have to go around your field and make sure that's all lined out, so you can actually run in that field with this vehicle, because if you don't, then that just doesn't work out very well. And when you start a field, you always have to have an AB line, and that's what will keep you going straight. So you only need to go about probably 50 yards. And then that'll be pretty good. That'll work pretty well. Because that line, it's just a straight line. It's no curves or anything. So if you do have curves, you'll have to take the auto steer off and just work around those curves. And there's actually a button right here you can click, and that will actually mark it as you're doing that. Like, as you're working the ground, it'll mark it in a green spot as you're doing that spot where you have to shut the auto steer part of it off. Because whenever you just normally click the foot pedal, it won't show that you're working the ground there. It'll show it as blank. And that usually stinks, because it just doesn't seem like you did it. And I realized that when I did that, I said it was 168 acres, but it was only 160. So I did about 8 acres more because there were certain spots where I had to drive across the field, and I just clicked that green button on here just to show that I was running it, and that seemed to work, but it was quite nice. And then that summer I also did hit the fence in a field and tore it out, but it wasn't bad. Besides there not being a seatbelt on this buddy seat, you fall out of your seat when I hit the brakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you're okay now, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's quite an interesting summer. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. Not tearing that up though. That was not fun.
No, that fence was awful. Had to break the fence wire to do anything, didn't we? It was pretty tangled up in there. Interesting thing, when my dad was actually running with the field finisher, he actually caught a deer hide in it. Remember that? The deer skin?
Yeah.
Had to pull that off. That screws some stuff up.
It's
Well, it didn't screw it up, but it screws it up. I didn't pronounce that very well. Now we're gonna go down and show you the camper.
slot.
We're not gonna go in it, we're just gonna walk around it. And this seat is actually a turning seat. That's what I like about it, because you have all this extra room to look, and you don't have to sit in a stationary position trying to turn around and look at stuff. You can literally just do that. You get that much more room. That's what I really like about this tractor, and I like it that it's a big tractor in general. And the seat will actually move. It'll kind of like sway forward and back a little too, if you hit a good enough bump. Need to turn the light off. Click. Gotta kind of shut it a little hard. Okay, and then there's a camper. Now there used to be trees here. But we bought a bike rack for our old camper. We took that off and put it on this camper. And inside this, we have a mini fridge. And then there's also a bed inside there where it'll fold down. So there's 2 bunk beds in the back. And then the main bed is up here. Then there's a table that will go down and turn into a bed. And then also a couch that'll pull out and turn into a bed. So there's a lot of bed space in here. And I'll show you another interesting thing in a second here. This will be one of the longest videos I've uploaded to YouTube. It's actually quite nice. Get it shut all the way? Okay. Usually there's pigeons in that little white bin silo. Hey Fred. Say hi to the camera. We're gonna go in here. There's actually a hole here for holding water. We filled that in, which is kind of nice. And then this cement here is probably going to come out because it just drops. And my dad, he made that fish house. The door's in the back. He made that fish house when I was in my mom's belly yet. And then we just got this trailer just about a year ago now, I suppose. Here's our garbage piles from our basement. The basement in this house is really, really bad at the moment. But once we move in, it'll be a lot better. We'll put some steel rods up, and that'll hold up the house. That'll be a better supporting beam / wall. And then there's our 2 augers. And then that'll be it for the video, I guess. And then don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and see you in the next one. Got anything to say?
Bye, guys.
Talk a little. Talk a little. Talk. Say something. What up?
Hold up.
Just say peace.
Peace.
Peace. I'm out.